Good morning and welcome to 5 a day, 5 minutes to help us grow in our lives. This week, my title for the series of short talks we're doing, the short reflections, and I hope food for real thought in our lives. I've used under the title of Navigating the Turbulent 20s. Just some tools and some things I think we need to consider as we embark on this decade. And today I want to look at justice or injustice. Let me read you a few verses from Isaiah chapter 59 verse 14. So justice is driven back and righteousness stands at a distance. Truth has stumbled in the streets. Honesty cannot enter. Truth is nowhere to be found. And whoever shuns evil becomes a prey. The writer looks at how his people as a group, a nation who are proud of their heritage, who claimed a really close connection, a unique connection with God. He looked at how they had not just drifted away, but actually completely turned away, turned their backs almost on the God and the lifestyle that was prescribed by God, and were working and moving hard along another route. And the writer, Isaiah, acknowledges that they've sinned and they've fallen away. If nobody else is going to do it, he was going to do it. I watched an interview this morning with an England cricketer who during lockdown had kind of looked back on pictures of the last test series and realised that he wasn't happy with himself, that he was overweight, that as an elite sportsman he wasn't fit, he wasn't in the right place. And so during lockdown he worked on his fitness, lost 12 kilos. He realised that everything wasn't okay, all was not well. And the start of any recovery, the start of any move forward is acknowledgement of where we are. That's the start in our own lives. That's the start for us as a nation as we move forward from this point. Justice, he says, was nowhere to be found in the courts. It wasn't in the public arena, the agora, the marketplace, the street, but it was more than marketplaces where the courts met. It was where everything happened, where all the judicial business was done, where life was done. Lies, corruption, pandering to the powerful and the wealthy were the norm. The poor, the disadvantaged, were just there to be used as fodder. We hear reports coming out of Leicester as to one of the reasons why they're on lockdown is because there are a number of sweatshops that weren't known about by the general public, that was there to satisfy the need, or should I say the greed, of so many people wanting cheap clothes, cheap fashions that they can go on the internet or go in the shops and buy. And that people have been working in appalling conditions, even during lockdown. Some even with symptoms of COVID-19 had been forced to work or lose their jobs. Stories of wages as low as £3.50 an hour, and that's got to be something like £5 below the minimum legal wage, not what you kind of feel like doing. Not surprising really, as so many of the cheap clothes and other goods loved by, it seems, millions of people have been produced by sweatshops somewhere or another, mostly in Asia. Often it's children who are being used and exploited. I wonder where the billions of masks and other PPE that's suddenly being produced is manufactured. Now, truth is, a lot of this is in Asia, and some of it are from manufacturing companies who suddenly everybody was put out of work. Why? Because British companies and others pulled their orders completely. They didn't think that actually let's switch that production to PPE. You've probably seen pictures in India, for instance, of many migrants that are like having to try and walk back to where they were because there's no work. And a lot of this is down to factories that are producing clothes, producing goods, and they just simply stop their orders and just put everybody out of work. However, a lot of people in Asia, a lot of companies have themselves started producing PPE. You have to produce it in billions when you start to consider how much is being used by people. But some of that, no doubt, again, will be being produced in sweatshops, and people were able to put their orders in, get things cheap, and not consider what is behind it, not consider the injustice. I doubt whether many people are asking these sort of questions in their lives. We live in a society, in a world where exploitation is the norm, where rich is good and the poor, well, just they get what they deserve. Truth and justice are nowhere to be found. Doing good is almost seen as a naivety in our society. My concern is that too many people, including leaders who call themselves Christians, have fallen so far from what God wants. It's a call at the start of the 20s to repent and to turn again to God's ways. That, I believe, is a call of the day. To wake up, to smell the air, and to change our ways. Bless you. Have a fantastic day, and I look forward to catching up with you tomorrow morning.